Alright, let's try this again. Third attempt. Hello, I'm Sersha. I just want to do a quick review of my pair of. Bring the camera down a bit. My pair of NYX Urban Drifters in Bridgetown Chrome XL. On the whole, I really love these boots. Even if I do have a couple of small, relatively small issues with them, one of which is completely self-inflicted. To begin, these are really great boots. They're built like absolute tanks. They're incredibly comfortable, and the leather is great. It's a little bit dusty at the moment. If I fix the lighting a little bit, they're a little bit dusty at the moment because we're just doing a bit of sanding of the doors. As you can see, they're currently hardwood, but we're going to be painting them. So they're just a bit dusty because of that. Yes, as I say, on the whole, these are really great boots, but I do have a couple of small issues with them. One of which I said is self-inflicted. They're too wide. That's just my fault, really. I did all the research, I looked into it. The length is perfect, I got that absolutely spot on. But when I was buying these originally, because they're so expensive, I was kind of terrified of getting the wrong size, right? So I was kind of in the middle of the widths for a 9.5 length, right? So I went for the wider size, which turned out to be a bit of a mistake because they're a bit too wide. But that, it's not really an issue. A boot that's a little bit too big, just throw an insole in it, and that's what I did. You can see it in there. It's a Shawl gel work insole. No issues with it really. Another one of the issues was that when I was breaking these in initially, here, kind of where the boot where your foot kind of comes into your ankle, murderous ankle bite. It really killed me for probably about a month, but it's entirely gone now. These are incredibly comfortable, as I said. Even if, yeah, a bit too wide, there's extra issues. They're a little bit loose on the ankle sometimes, but you can just tie them up tight and they're perfectly good. As well, if you're worried about these, how they'll do in hot weather, I brought these to Paris with me in July, I think 3 weeks after I got them, and when I tell you it was sweltering hot in Paris, in the middle, in early July, I was dying, but these weren't really a part of it. I just don't deal well with heat. I'm Irish after all. It's always fucking cold here. It's always cold and rainy, as they say. But yeah, these weren't an issue. They weren't a cause of overheating for my feet or any discomfort or anything. They were really comfortable, great for walking around all the time. Especially in the dry, because in the wet, in Dublin, we have a lot of kind of these pave stones on the paths on some of the roads as well, and some cobblestones, and if it rains or they're wet for some reason, or the soles of your boots are wet, the V100, the lug sole on these, doesn't perform that great in that kind of a situation. Or on wet lino or even polished hardwood, they can be a little bit slippy if your boots are a bit wet, which isn't really the fault of these boots. It's just that's not really what the sole is made for. The sole is made for outdoor work, giving you tons of grip in the mud, and these do. These give you tons and tons of grip in the mud. They're great. I've also had these since, I was saying I got them in kind of middle of June this year. So I've had these guys for 6 months, 7 months now. And they've never let me down. The heel isn't even really that worn. You can barely tell. Though I do rotate these with a couple of other boots that I have for work. And in terms of what I do for work, I'm a barista. You might think to yourself, is a pair of Nicks not a bit overkill for a barista? you would probably be right, but it's really good. It's really, really nice to have a pair of hardy, comfortable, supportive boots that you can like easily stand on for like more than 8 hours a day. And boots that are gonna age well, they're gonna last, can get resoled even if, cause this screws in the sole. Like Nicks really do not spare anything on making sure these things will not die on you. Um, I'm I'm pretty confident that I could like probably summit Everest in these really, and they would like laugh at me, be like, come on, that's the best you can do, you know. Um, so yeah, really like cannot sing the praises of these boots more. But too wide was a mistake that I rectified in my next pair of boots, which will be the next video. So thank you for watching. For the Irish perspective on a pair of Nicks, I would like to think that I'm the only Irish person in Ireland that actually owns a pair of Nicks, but I would imagine some of the wildland firefighters have some of the fire boots, which would make sense. They would probably have like Nicks or Whites or something. One of them companies that's gonna build you like an indestructible boot, which you would really need in that kind of a situation. But yeah, thank you for watching.